every Friday from 3:05 to 4 on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM. It's the Friday Sports Scene with Keith and Koivisto. Talking local sports every Friday, getting you ready for the weekend and what lies ahead. High school sports, UConn, ECSU, and more. The Friday Sports Scene with Keith and Koivisto is brought to you by your local Dunkin' stores. Route 32 South Windham, 1015 Main Street, Willimantic, 1575 West Main Street, and 407 Jackson Street. The Friday Sports Scene. Now, here's Keith C. Rice and Jan Koivisto.
Back after a week off, here we are. Missed you guys. Did you have a good Easter?
I did.
Very good? Yeah? Everyone good? Nick, how about you?
Yeah, it was good. I had to take it easy on deviled eggs. I have a weakness, but I was all right.
Keith C. Rice, Chronicles, Jan Koivisto, the coach, Nick Erlinson here. And I've got intern RJ and J. Matt Rupar on the other side. Welcome into the April 10th edition. We're in April. It's a beautiful day for a parade as the state champion Windham Tech Mighty Tiger is going to be honored today in downtown Willimantic. We'll get to all that. We'll have our friend. He seriously is a friend of the show. He's been on probably more than anyone. Athletic Director at Windham Tech, Bill O'Connor, will join us in just a few at 3:15 to talk about not only the parade, but we are officially in baseball season. So Nick brought this up on the thread the other day. Let's have him talk a little baseball, too, as we get ready for we will be getting into a lot of high school baseball. Maybe not this week because we're kind of making the transition from hoops. But good to have you guys back. We weren't here last week because of the Red Sox and UConn women.
I actually ran into Coach Gilday last night. There was a board 35, the referee board did a banquet, and they honored the Plainfield girls because we won the ECC, and they honored the Windham Tech boys. So pretty cool to see him. First time I had met him officially.
Great guy.
Yeah, and I told him to me it's one of the best high school basketball achievements we've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah,
for a Tech school to do that.
I mean, what was it, 1967?
Yeah, yes, exactly. And the funny thing is, I asked him, maybe we can get in this with Coach O'Connor a little bit. Is that I imagine there's some Windham kids now that would like to go to Windham Tech, but it's just the roll of the dice. There's a lottery, and he can't get.
Is that how it works? It's a lottery.
Yeah.
Not like the portal in college, which we'll get into a little bit, but it's a lottery.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's some kids as eighth graders that are like, hey, I want to go play basketball for this guy. Not that Windham also has a good basketball program, as we know.
Coach Marty, yeah.
But still, I'm sure there's some kids that want to do it, and they just got to roll
How does that
dice.
lottery work exactly?
I don't know. I'm not sure exactly. I think they just apply. They got to meet criteria, I'm sure, for grades and all that stuff. But then I think it's just they just pick randomly.
Okay. Yeah, so interesting. High school's got the lottery. College has the portal. Let's get into a little UConn men and women. Let's do the rundown first. I'll buzz through this, and we'll do a little UConn women and men. Kind of close the door on that. We'll really close the door on the men when we have Phil Gamble, former Husky great Phil Gamble, joining us at 3:35 on the Dunkin' Friday Sports Scene here at 14 WILI and 95.3 FM. And don't forget, you can watch the show on the YouTube channel. Just search WILI Radio. State champion Windham Tech boys basketball parade in downtown Willie today, 5 p.m. Go secure yourself a spot because this is an absolutely gorgeous day for a parade. Friend of the show and athletic director and head baseball coach Bill O'Connor, as we just mentioned, will jump on at 3:15, give us a little parade route and exactly what to expect on the agenda. Weather is perfect, so try and get down there and see. It should end up, I think I'm assuming will be a rally, and Bill will confirm this on the Shabu stage. It's what they did for Windham a few years back. And, of course, we'll talk Windham Tech baseball a little bit with athletic director and Coach O'Connor. Eastern baseball, 14-6 overall, 4-2 in the LEC. We'll have to get Coach O on soon. They play 2 at home against Rhode Island College starting at noon tomorrow at Holowati Family Field in Mansfield. ECSU softball, 13-7, 4-0. We'll have to get Coach Pepin on as well. They're up in Vermont tomorrow playing 2 with Castleton State. UConn baseball and softball out in Indy this weekend playing Butler. Baseball team is 18-16. Overall, 4-2 in the Big East. Softball team, 17-22, 9-3 in the Big East. The 4-8 Red Sox head to St. Louis this weekend. Connolly Early will get the start against old friend Dustin May. 7:15 pregame on WILI. 8:15 the start for that. 8-4 Yankees head to Tampa after losing 2 out of 3 to Knicks Athletics. He's got his athletics apparel on today. Luis Heel will go for the Yanks down in Tampa tonight at 7:10. Mets home for Knicks A's. Clay Holmes will go for the Mets at Citi Field. The Metropolitans are 7-6 after losing to Arizona yesterday. NBA final weekend of the regular season. If Jaylen Brown plays last night, I think the Celtics win that game. I was at Trolley doing Trolley Pub Trivia, but I was keeping an eye on it. Celtics were up by 2 late. Next thing I know, what happened at the end there? Does anybody know? Did you see it?
I saw the Baylor 3. I didn't watch it. I saw the highlights. The Baylor 3 put them up by 2, like you said, and then did they score again, or they only scored a basket after that?
I know Josh Hart had a huge second half for the Knicks, and Josh Hart turns into LeBron every time he plays the Celtics. So
they'll clinch a 2 spot tonight.
They
They'll clinch
should.
a 2 spot, and it's all irrelevant. Really.
They have a 2-game lead on the Knicks with 2 to play. So the Celtics have the Pelicans at home tonight, then the Magic at home on Sunday. But the Knicks host the Raptors. Both teams are finished at home. The Knicks host the Raptors tonight, and then they're home for the Hornets. So, yeah, the Celtics should clinch it tonight with a win over New Orleans. McIlroy and Hatton are your leaders atop at the Masters in Augusta. And as I mentioned, we'll make the transition from high school baseball in the coming weeks as we say goodbye to the hoop season. We'll get closing thoughts on the UConn season with former Husky great Phil Gamble at 3:35. Big thanks to our local Dunkin' stores, Route 32 South Wyndham. Of course, in Willimantic at 407 Jackson Street, 1015 Main Street, 1575 West Main Street, and 407 Jackson Street. A big thanks to Jerry and the crew for sponsoring the show, the Dunkin' Friday Sports Scene. Make sure you check out the $5 meal deal, the caramel chocolate shaken espresso, Coca Cloud latte. I'm doing the Dunkin' latte today. We all got. Nick, what refresher do you have today?
I don't remember.
Looks like
I think it's a
strawberry refresher.
I think it's blackberry and something. I don't remember. They didn't have whatever it was I ordered the first time.
Hold it up, so for the cameras there. Okay, don't spill it. Yeah, it wouldn't be good. All right,
Nick mixes it up. Just the black ice today.
I don't have to ask.
Black
Jan.
ice. Well,
that's actually good. I like that.
You could ask me if it's hot or cold. That's really the only question.
A day like today, don't be like me and drink. I'd say it could be 95 degrees. I'm always going to drink.
Yeah, me too. In the morning.
Coffee.
In the morning. Sometime in the afternoon, I'd go with the ice. But in the morning, it's got to be hot.
Yeah, definitely. I got to start rocking some iced coffee soon. All right. So big thanks to our Dunkin' stores. J-Matt Rupar. We finally meet again after missing you for a couple of weeks. We're either on 6 to 7 or preempted. What do you got on Homegrown at 4:05 today?
I got some Bruce John. I haven't played Bruce John before, so
Ooh, little BJ. All
I
right.
think he's due. Don't say that. Don't say BJ.
Come on, Bruce John.
Go tell it on the mountain.
We're not going to have to hit the dump button like we did earlier this week.
And Kasha Dent, I'm going to be playing some of her music. She's going to be playing at the Bread Box Wednesday, April 15th, 220 Valley Street, fundraiser for the Covenant Soup Kitchen.
I see her pushing that all over social media.
I think Chris Beaudry's going to be playing with her too. So
of course, you can't. They're inseparable. Yeah.
Bruce John has an awesome voice. Even as he's getting older, oh my gosh, I love his voice, and some of the songs he sings just fit perfectly with his voice too.
And he is like everywhere. Some nights he's at Blondie's. The guy everywhere you pop up on your Facebook. There's Bruce singing somewhere. So all right, well, looking forward to Homegrown. You don't have to get. We're not going to call Bill yet. We're just going to talk a little UConn. That's all right. That's all right. J-Matt Rupar right on top of things over there with intern RJ on the Dunkin' Friday Sports. You want to do a little UConn women and men, and then we'll get Coach O'Connor talk a little about the parade and Wyndham Tech baseball. Let's start with the women. Friday night. I kind of had a good feeling going into it. I think we all did, based on the last 2 times UConn and South Carolina have played. Of course, the national championship last year blew them out. It just seemed like nothing was, and I'm guilty of this too. I said, wake me up when we get to the Final Four. It was just like, and boy, they got blindsided on Friday night.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Gino became the story a little bit. I think it was frustration. I think, I was saying before, I don't think he coached a good game, and I'm sure he's reflected on that since then. And listen, he's done so good for so long, he deserves a little grace, but he didn't handle it well. I do wonder, he's 73. I know he's signed the contract, but maybe he's getting close to where he should leave. That he handled that so poorly was not good.
Yeah, and the game wasn't even over yet, and I still can't get out of my mind. And excuse me, I want to ask Jan this because he's a coach. And we all know by now what was bothering him was that the fact that he had to wait 3 minutes for a pregame handshake, that's what he was upset about. I mean, come on, Gino, you just got out coached, you got your butt kicked. Let's let's go out with a little grace. What do you think as a coach, as far as you know?
I don't think that bothered him at all. I think what bothered him was that he got his butt kicked.
That was an
right?
excuse.
I think that was an excuse, and the ripped jersey and things. And now, listen, they grabbed Strong a lot, and they were physical with her, but you have to adapt to that. And I was saying, get her in the post a little more. They put a smaller player on her to just torture her, and they did torture her, and they just got to get her in the post and get her the ball there.
And I think you caught Dawn Staley by surprise. Go back to Gino and Dawn for a second, because did you see Dawn was first surprised? Then you could read her lips going, I shook your hand. And then next thing you know, there's like 2 or 3 people. Chris Daly was nowhere. I don't blame Chris Daly for that. She's like, I'm hanging out over here. There's 2 or 3 people get in the middle like they're about to swing, which I don't think was going to happen.
No.
That might have been a little dramatic. Gino's not going to, I would hope he wouldn't swing at Dawn Staley.
Oh, she looked like she might swing at him.
I know.
Yeah.
She was ready. She goes, and I don't want to repeat any of this because Matt's already had a busy week with the dump button, but you could read some of the lip action going on there. And I was at Fenton River Grill, and the whole restaurant was like, everyone's jaw was dropping. It was like, and then the game ends, and that wasn't even the end of the game. There was 4 seconds to go when they did that, and then Gino just walks off, what a bad look. And then we couldn't wait to get on our phones to see the post-game pressers, and that wasn't prettier either. I mean, it was just terrible. Nick,
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that what he brought up though, Gino kind of took the headline from it, and I mean, they were undefeated for so long, and then the story should have been that they were beaten, and he kind of deflected a lot of that away from the players with that, I think. But I mean, the players didn't. Strong and Flood kind of struggled a little.
7 for
and nobody else stepped it up.
7 for 31 combined. Yes, thanks for bringing that up. They were beyond struggling, and they couldn't even hit a layup at some point.
Yeah, they struggled, and it also takes away from I feel like 2 years, 3 years from now, we'll look back on this, and people are going to kind of forget UCLA was so dominant, and they deserve the accolades, and it'll be the story will be that semifinal game and Gino's behavior, which is kind of sad for the women's game.
That's what they're going to take away. 62-48 was the final. And a UConn women's team, when was the last time you saw them scoring 48 points? And Nick just said it. You have your 2 main players, can't hit anything. And, they
had 20 points combined between 2 of them.
Unbelievable. So it's going to be interesting. I real quick before we get Bill on, and Jan and I talked about this off the air. I wasn't too happy with the statements. I think that the first statement, I didn't even know there was a second statement until Jan told me, but the first statement that was put out, which you knew was coming, you didn't mention Coach Staley, but the second one you said he did?
He did, yeah. He said he talked to her and he called her and he mentioned her. But again, that felt forced after, the national media kind of beat him up over the first statement. So hard to think that second statement. And he may have meant it and it may have been sincere, but it just comes across as not sincere.
Yeah. And as Jan also mentioned, it's going to be interesting to see if this affects Gino and the UConn women with the portal. I don't think he's ever lost a player to the portal, right?
There's plenty of Tennessee players available.
Think any South Carolina players that want to come for him? Play for him? No. Anyway, and I don't take anything away from Gino. I mean, he's had tremendous success, but I think I can speak for both of you guys too. We wouldn't have saw that. Never in a million years we thought we'd see that coming on Friday night. That kind of behavior.
No, he deserves grace because, especially for the right after, like I said, anybody that's ever coached at any level has gotten wound up. So the right after, you can give him a little pass. I don't love that, 15 or 20 minutes later in the press conference, he was still spouting stuff, and then the first apology was poor. So,
well, as we continue to wait for to connect with Bill O'Connor, I want to add, this is another thing I want to ask you, Jan. Now, I know if it's probably different in high school. Well, I would assume it is. And I asked John Tewitt this, who's a PA guy, on Monday morning. You got away, I know the public address announcer announces the starting lineups, and there's a time where the coaches shake hands before the game. Do you think that really, Gino really had to wait 3 minutes? And Dawn had shook the hands of Gino and his staff.
Yeah, they showed it. I don't know. He may have been standing there at half court, but when you're watching warm-ups in high school, you kind of stand at half court, and you're a little bit on your own. Before games, there's no official handshake, but every coach that comes into my gym, I'll go over, say hello, talk to. Everybody knows everybody. So he might have been at half court, but I can't believe he really was waiting for her to shake his hand. That seems odd to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm just as shocked as you guys are. And then the fact that they lost by, that was a close game. Pretty much, I'd say, almost 3 quarters. Got a little close to the third quarter, too. And then South Carolina, just so we're not, okay, we haven't reached Bill yet. Well, it's a busy day up at Wyndham Tech. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll talk a little UConn men because I want to get to that game on Monday night. I think a lot of people expected Michigan to run away with it. Michigan, is we all agree, is probably the best team head to toe in college basketball this season. The fact that was a 69-63 final. Okay, UConn lost their first ever national championship game, but I turned off that game the other night, and and I'm not one for moral victories or silver linings, but I was pretty pleased with the performance by the UConn men the other night.
Yeah, they looked to me early on they couldn't score in the paint at all. Like they were just stopped and everything like that. And then what hurt them was all those fouls early, which didn't help them because they had nobody to really facilitate the offense a little bit. Because the foul shooting has hurt them too. Michigan made most of theirs.
Michigan was unbelievable at the line. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I was happy with their performance overall, and I do think moral victories maybe gets overused, but it's hard to win a national championship, and this team accomplished to me above their level more than maybe the 2 year ago national championship did, if that makes any sense. I saw Chad Neal last night too because he's involved with the refs, and he was saying the teams he looks at it as his 2 best teams, he lost in the state finals. So I think sometimes we lose sight, and you think they have to win it to have it be successful when teams that maybe even make the semis can overachieve, So I know it's all about the wins, but I do think that teams can have awful good seasons without winning.
Matt, I just sent him a text, so tell him to call. Okay. So if you want, we're trying to connect with the athletic director, coach, and friend of the show, Bill O'Connor, who I'm sure we'll get on the line eventually as we get ready to talk about the big parade today and Wyndham Tech baseball. But yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about the opponents in all those national championship games, no disrespect to what Hurley and that team accomplished going back to back. Was it San Diego State and I always blank out on one of the who was it? Who was it? San Diego State in 24, right, or 23? I always forget who the other one was. But see, it
blend together.
Yeah, but Michigan
blend together.
Yeah, and it's not a bad problem to have. But UConn was they were a pretty hefty underdog, a 7.5-point underdog, and I don't know about how you were feeling in the first half, but the way they were slowing it down and turning it into a half-court game. I actually said to myself, I said, I think UConn's going to win this game. And I said that in the first half. But again, second half was a different story. As Nick mentioned, Michigan couldn't. Michigan was unbelievable at the line. UConn went cold from 3-point land. Like they were hitting shots in the first half.
Yeah, I never felt they were going to win. I felt they mucked it up is a phrase I would use, and that was their advantage. I thought once they went in. I thought they had to go in halftime with even a two-point lead. They would have been good.
What was it, like 33-20?
Yeah, they were only down by 4, but to me it felt like they were just going to be chasing. And I'm a big believer in upsets happen from playing from the front usually, and they weren't able to do that.
But they did. Excuse me. They did have a chance with like 23 seconds to go. Caravan hits that 3. It's a 1-point game, and you can't tell me that Michigan's going, oh my God, they're going to pull a Duke on us.
Yeah.
As good as that Michigan team is, and they're going to be plenty good. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they repeat next year.
Well,
they have somebody coming in. I read the other day.
Well, I think they're losing at least 3, right?
They
were all
the
transfers.
Cadeau kid's coming back.
Yeah, he's coming back.
He's coming back. Yeah.
They were all. I mean, they're the best team money can buy. Maybe we'll get into that a little bit with Phil after. But they were all portal guys.
They're all transfer. Yeah, the starting 5 was all transfers
and paid. They paid. They were saying it was about $10 million total. I don't know who got what. I don't think they really report that. But there was a lot of money there for them in NIL, and
Now, we had a lot of different options. You could listen to our good friend of the show, Ian Eagle, which we'll be hearing his voice on the Duncan Friday Sports Scene in just a few. That's the main broadcast on TBS. You had Wayno and Mike on the radio, WILI. And then I didn't check this out, but the Fab Five, I guess, had an alternate broadcast somewhere. I don't know where it was, but somebody mention the Fab Five, almost like what they do with Peyton and Eli, I guess, for the Manning cast or something.
I saw them there. They showed them a few times, but I didn't know that they had an alternate podcast. But that's kind of the interesting thing about that is the Fab Five are recognized as Michigan guys. You see those guys, you still know who they are. Like,
and they didn't win anything, right?
Right, no. Well, they achieved.
Chris Webber with the timeout in
Yeah.
93.
Twice. But like this team, it feels a little bit hollow. I'm not a Michigan fan anyway, but it feels a little hollow in that I don't know that Michigan fans are going to like really know these guys or remember they're not connected to these guys.
Exactly.
And the Fab Five was only together 2 years.
Very good point. Very good point. Okay, so let's get back to the portal because I don't know if we're going to connect with Coach O'Connor. It's a busy day up there, so we understand. I was texting with him about a couple hours ago, but something must have came up. But if we do connect at some point, I'm sure we'll have him on again soon. I wanted to talk about the portal. We have some audio here. Dan Hurley on the I think this is still for the Dan Patrick Show, but here's Coach Hurley talking about his view on the portal.
For me, it's the transfer.
Hold on, I may have to rewind here.
If my sons, for me, it's the transfer rule. If my sons, as college or high school kids, said to me, "Hey, Dad, I want to transfer after my freshman year of college," I would say, "Tell me why." And I want to hear your reasons, and then I'll support you if the reasons make sense. But then at the end of their sophomore year, if they said, "I want to transfer again," and then I want to transfer again, at some point, I would, as a parent, I would be concerned.
Now, before we get to, he's got some comments on Braylon Mullins. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, no, I agree with what he's saying. I think
It's a little ridiculous.
I like the NIL thing. I hate because I feel they should have to do at least 2 years at the school before they're allowed to transfer out, unless coaching changes or something major.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion. I agree with what he's saying though.
It should be tweaked, I would think. Like, again, this is. I would think, going year after year. I mean, come on. You should say, okay, you want to play here? You got to stay for a couple of years, right? Chan, would you?
Yeah, well, I'd like to see it tweaked. I don't think it's possible because I
Really?
think a player will sue and win. They have the right, right?
Unbelievable.
So I think that's what it would come to. I think it should be once would be better. So I do agree with him. I just don't think it can change now. Unless, you could try to maybe change culture and get it to be viewed as, even as a coach, I don't know that I want a kid that if it's his third transfer, you would think. Although, if he can play, I guess they still want him.
And it gets
right?
your reputation of being a jumper.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems really, really strange to me. And again, I think the one pass is good. And I also think the NCAA kind of made their own bed and did it themselves because they really abuse is probably the wrong word, but it was not advantageous to the kids for the longest time. They didn't have money. Chris Webber would say, I'd see my jersey for sale for $140 and I didn't have money for a burger in my pocket. He's right.
Yeah.
He was right. So, I do think, and coaches would recruit kids, hey, come play for me, and then they'd leave. They'd jump. And the kid was stuck. So that something gave is good.
So the NIL is probably better than the portal at this point.
Oh, the portal. I think, listen, if I was all powerful, portal once. You can transfer once.
Once, yeah.
But I don't think it's happening.
So they can't change that because the player has control.
I think they could try to change it, but I think the players would kind of band together and sue a little bit. That's kind of what started the whole NIL stuff, right? Was Ed O'Bannon, you're using my likeness, and that's what started that. And I think that a player would win that. How can you say you can't transfer?
Yeah. Wow. You got something else you're going to add, Nick?
No, I was just going to agree with what he said.
Here is Dan Hurley, another comment. I got to get to it here. Asking about, I got to get to it here.
Concerned.
About I guess I can't find it now. Maybe we'll get that after the break. I want to find. He had some funny comments about Hurley when asked by Dan Patrick, when will you find out when Braylon Mullins is coming back? So why don't we step out now? We'll take a quick break. I guess we'll try and reconnect with Coach O'Connor. Maybe next week we'll get him on, talk a little Wyndham Tech baseball, and do a recap of the parade. But should try to get out there 5 o'clock. Beautiful day for a parade for the state champion Wyndham Tech boys basketball team. On the other side, we'll do a little more Dan Hurley as we get ready to have our closing thoughts on the UConn men's basketball season. I think we pretty much wrapped up the women as they went down in the Final Four. UConn falls to Michigan by 6 on Monday night. We'll get a little more audio from Coach Hurley, and former Husky great Phil Gamble will join us from down in the Virginia, Washington, D.C. area and give us his closing thoughts on the UConn men's season. More of the Duncan Friday Sports Scene coming up on 14 WILI 95.3 FM. I should have thought of this earlier because Wayno had like a day off there in between the Final Four win. So figures, I think of it like a few hours before tip on Monday night. I text, I go, hey, if you can't do it, I totally get it. See if you can get Ian Eagle to do a drop for the Duncan Friday Sports Scene. And Wayno shoots back, goes, I don't know if I'm going to see him. I said, don't worry about it. I take a nap for the game, 10 minutes before tip. There's a text from Wayno with the audio file. He got like, yes! So, great to have. He's one of my favorites.
Awesome.
Love
Ian
Eagle.
Yeah,
He's great.
He was. We were talking about it, right? At WFAN.
He was the original,
way back when.
not the original producer. He was one of Mike and the Mad Dog's producers.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll get to Phil Gamble in a second. Here is Coach Hurley's. This is Coach Hurley on the Dan Patrick Show the other day, being asked about Braylon Mullins returning.
Thank you very much.
When do you find out if Mullins is coming back?
Well, I mean, the line is starting to form. It's the supermarket. It's the deli section. I don't know what.
Take a number. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's such a I think for teams like us and the teams that play in the Final Four national championship game, it's like it hits you like an avalanche because we literally. Your season really just ended, just like literally 2 days ago. And now you've got to make all these decisions. You've got to help your players make monumental decisions. I would just say now in college, I would say that unless it absolutely makes total sense for you to go in the draft, unless you're going to be a lottery pick or guaranteed to go top 15, top 18, the biggest mistake that you can make right now as a college basketball player is going to the draft too early.
And that's Coach Hurley on Mullins. We'll bring in. You got a quick thought on it? Any of you guys got a quick thought?
Well, yeah, I think again he's right on the button. I think Mullins, if he was going to be a lottery pick, should go. I don't think he's going to be a lottery pick, and it'd be nice if he was back.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. We had a couple guys that left, I think, too early, and
he had some flashes, but I don't know if he's ready to. He probably. I don't think he'd get off the bench. I could be wrong, but you never know.
Yeah, a little more muscle, and I think he'll be terrific next year too. That's the thing is he could definitely play himself into a lottery pick next year.
Knock on wood, he stays healthy. All right, time to bring him in once again. We had him on close to a month ago here on the Duncan Friday Sports Scene on WILI, here home of the UConn Huskies. Former Husky great Phil Gamble joining us. Hey, Phil, you there?
Yes, I'm here. How y'all doing?
Good.
How you doing, Phil?
We got you in a better phone connection this time. We got Keith C. Rice, Chronicles Jan Koivisto, the coach, and Nick Erlinson here. Thanks for a few minutes. And coming off the big national championship game Monday night, let's start there. We were just talking about earlier, UConn put up a heck of a fight because they were a 7.5-point underdog. I think a lot of people thought, hey, Michigan might blow these guys out, but the first half pace definitely favored UConn. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I definitely agree. But I did think early in the year, I did think Michigan was a strong team. But I'm proud of the Huskies. They battled to the end. It was no let up. That was one thing about it. I was watching to see how they was going to react once they got down, and they picked it up. They kept playing to the end. They battled, and I'm really proud of them for fighting to the end, trying to bring that championship home.
Also, one thing, I'm surprised Michigan, that was a team that scored, I think Jan brought this up once, 90-plus all the way up until UConn. And the fact that they, now Michigan was red hot from the line, but one stat that really jumps off the page, and I heard a lot of people talk about this, and this was a lot of Husky grit here, the 22 offensive rebounds. I mean, let's face it, Michigan, a lot of tall trees there, and UConn just banged with them all night. And at one point, they Caravan hits that three with 23 seconds to go. You can't tell me Michigan is thinking about that Duke game in the back of their mind, right?
Exactly. It was the game was exciting. Michigan did have. It seemed like they played a little. They were very physical and banging, and I think some calls should have went our way. I'm not being biased by no means, but I'm just saying I just feel like some calls should have went our way, but it didn't. But I mean, I just feel like the guys they played with the grit, they banged. I mean, we couldn't ask for no more. I mean, just like you said, They thought Michigan was going to blow us out, but the first half, we kind of stayed close and kept the game in our view. And Michigan did play a good game. I got to give it to them, but I'm proud of the Huskies. I really am.
Are there any calls off the top of your head, Phil? Because I know a lot of people, at least I saw on social media after the game, complaining about the refs. Is there a play or two that you can recall off the top of your head that really made you think, whoa? Like, I could picture a few in my head, but are there any that come to mind?
Yes. Silas Demery. He was going towards the basket like he was boxing out, and he stepped in front. He was in front of the guy. I forgot his name. He transferred from North Carolina, the point guard, and the point guard
Cadell, right? I think.
Yeah. Looked like he pushed him, and he pushed him into one of the players and stuff like that. And I was like, whoa, why you didn't call that? So it was a few other plays, some knick-knack plays, just like with Solo Ball. I thought he had good position for that charge, but they didn't give it to him under the basket. So I was just like, wow, okay. Of course, I got the sweating in there like I was playing. But
were you sweating?
Yes, I was.
You taking the Nerf ball during the game and shooting some hoops?
Yeah. I would have loved to put a jersey on, man. I tell you, I was so worked up in there. I was just like, come on, y'all can pull this off. But they kept it close. When they kept it close, I said, if they keep it close, you never know what can happen. So, but it was a few fouls that I thought should have went the other way, but it didn't. But I'm just proud of the Huskies, man, because they could have gave in and just let them run all over them, but it was no quit. It was no quit in us.
I saw your Facebook video. You playing defense. You can still get down, man.
That was for a quick second.
Hey, Phil, so we were talking a little bit about the portal, and last time we talked, you had mentioned that you, when Perno left, you met with Calhoun, and it was a little bit of a tough meeting. Over half the players are in the portal. As an ex-player that kind of pushed through some adversity, what do you think of the portal?
The portal. I think it's totally different. This transfer portal is totally different now. I mean, because when I played, you had you transfer, you sit out a year. Now you transfer, you can go right and play. It's a different time. It's a different era. I think because you got the NIL that is involved in all this, so it's totally different. I'm just adjusting to it. Trying to learn more about it and how you go by doing it and stuff like that. And because you transfer, you go right and play, but when we play, you lose a year. So it's totally different, but it's today's game. Yep. So you have to just jump into it, learn about it, and just go with the flow, because it is some exciting basketball with it, and teams can stack good teams and good players. So that's the way I look at it. But I feel like, if they're going to do that, I feel like, we got to try to just stay on top of our recruiting, get the best players that we can get as well, so we can end up right back in the Final Four.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see what Coach Hurley does with the portal. In fact, he had a great line right after the Michigan game the other night. He's obviously a little deflated from the loss, but he's looking at one of the reporters. He goes, "Is it midnight yet? Is the portal open?" But we got former Husky great Phil Gamble with us here on the Duncan Friday Sports Scene on WILI, the April 10th edition. We're talking, doing some closing thoughts on the UConn basketball season. And speaking of the portal, right before the show, Jan Koivisto just mentioned that backup center Eric Ryba has entered the portal. Phil, I don't know if you heard that.
Yes, I did hear that. And I was kind of surprised about it, because I thought he would stay and then he could step up his game and he could be the main focus in the middle. But I guess not. That's what I'm saying. It's like you think you have a great team coming back, or a good team, good players coming back, and everybody jumps into the portal and stuff like that. And from what I've heard, I don't know if I'm correct on this. I was told there was probably 60 players across the country that didn't enter the portal. So I'm not sure if I'm correct on that, but you would think that you would have these players coming back, especially after having a good year with UConn. You would think that they'd be coming back to play, to say, oh wow, we got some good players coming back. But sometimes that portal, the NIL money talks, and then players think about trying to go to another team to see if they can produce better, so they can get drafted, and make some money. So
Yeah,
That's what it's all about now.
It's over 1,600 players and over half of all players. It's probably up to 60% now because I read that stat a day and a half
Okay,
ago.
that's what it was.
Is there an app? Is there an app we can download to follow this?
There is. Yeah, you can go see who's in the poll.
All right, that'd be great. So you get a notification every time. Phil Gamble has entered the portal. Whoa!
Oh my God! I wish I had a few extra years, y'all.
Oh man, you would have gotten paid, my friend.
Oh man!
Oh my God! Hey, I was wondering because they was talking about going back and trying to pay a certain up to a certain year. I think they was talking about that, and I was saying to myself, "Oh gosh, I missed it by a few years."
Yeah, well, they used your likeness, they sold your jersey and all that, right? That's what started this whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, but hey, it wasn't meant to be. But them guys should take advantage of what's happening now. Try to save some of that money as well, put it away, but also just try to. I got to throw it up there. Got to get that education because you never know when that can end.
Absolutely. And go ahead, Nick. You got something?
No, continue. I'll answer everything.
Phil, why don't you, before we get back to UConn for a second, why don't you, I don't think I've asked you this before. Maybe I did, but we haven't had you on like a month. Remind people what you're doing now in the Virginia, Washington D.C. area.
Well, I'm not in Washington D.C. yet. That's where I'm born. That's where I'm born and raised.
North Carolina, right? Is that where you're at?
Yep. I'm in North Carolina. I'm in Benson, North Carolina. I've been here for 8 years. I married my high school sweetheart.
Awesome.
And as a matter of fact, she's about to retire after 30 years of teaching.
All right.
Teaching here. Exactly. Yes. And we have a cake business called In the Mix Cakes, and she do all the baking, y'all. I don't do no baking.
Well, you guys start pumping that up on social media. I don't see. I mean, I see your page. You guys ever promote that or what?
Yes. Matter of fact, we're about to get the website out there and stuff. Right. And matter of fact, I came up there 2 years ago, and we brought I think it was 15 cakes because people ordered the cakes. We came up to see St. John's. Came to see St. John's play UConn at the Civic Center, XL Center. So, but what I'm doing, I'm down here. I'm 4 hours and a half away from DC. Mm-hmm. It's a blessing that I still have my mother. She's 96 years old.
Great.
She still gets around, man. And August 8th, she'll be 97, God willing. And so what I do down here now, I'm a juvenile probation officer down here in Sanford, North Carolina. I enjoy what I do, man, trying to help these juveniles, these teenagers, and I have some success stories. I got one kid in college now, and I had a few other kids that went to college, and some of them just, got out of high school, and now they're working. So, but then you got some that want to play both sides of the track, and, I try to tell them that, it's not going to work, but, they have to learn the hard way. But I enjoy what I do. I enjoy what I do, so I will continue to do this until it's time for me to retire.
God bless you, Phil. And if you're ever up in Connecticut and you're happen to be in the area on a Friday, come on in here and do the show with us.
Bring us one of those cakes.
Yeah, I know. Yesterday's my birthday. I could have used one of those.
hey, all the cakes are from scratch, and, she makes the red velvet, the pound cake, the carrot cake. She makes them all. So, yes, if I'm ever that way and we coming that way, I will reach out to y'all, and we'll bring some cakes that way.
Shout out to the business. Give us the name again.
It's called In the Mix Cakes. Please be looking for it. It's on Facebook. She made a post because I'm going to D.C. for Mother's Day, and when I go to D.C., they order a lot of cakes back there for us and stuff like that. So Mother's Day, I'm going there, and Mother's Day is May 9th, but May 10th. I'm going there on May 9th, that Saturday, and deliver cakes there. So, but yeah, it's called In the Mix Cakes, and my wife's name is Quanda Gamble. And she does a great job. So
you guys are an incredible team on Facebook. You guys do some funny videos, and please tell your wife you guys are a tremendous follow. So definitely keep us laughing and smiling, and I appreciate that. I just got a couple more UConn things, and we'll let you go. Are you good for a couple more minutes?
Oh yes, I am. I just want to let you know I'll be hitting the big 6-0 on Monday the 13th. April 13th, my birthday. So
where are you going to get a cake?
I got my cake right at home.
That's great.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. All right.
Happy birthday.
Wow.
Yes. Thank you.
It's great. We were talking about Braylon Mullins earlier. What are your thoughts on, I think we all are in agreement that Mullins probably should come back, right, for at least another year?
Yes, I agree. I think he should come back. kind of beef up, get a little muscle, get a little stronger. Just get that experience, a little more experience before he enter the draft, because I think he could be he could be a number one. I mean, I ain't gonna say number one, but he could be a first round pick. He has an awesome shot. He needs to work on his footwork a little bit, better defense a little bit. But other than that, I think he'd be a great player. And for him to come back, that'll also help recruits come in to play with him. That'd be awesome. So I feel like he should come back in at least one more year.
Speaking of Mullins, did you ever hit a buzzer beater, Phil?
Yeah. Did you?
Did I ever hit a buzzer beater? No, I tied him up a few times. To go in, I guess you could say that, to go in overtime.
That counts.
Yeah, to go in overtime. I guess we were playing St. John's. We were playing St. John's, and we were playing them there as well. And I hit a buzzer beater for us to go in overtime. Yes, I did.
I think I remember that game.
I think I might too. Now that he says
it.
it.
Jan and I are like old school Big East.
Yes.
We grew up at the Big East, and I used to get in so many battles with friends, buddies over at ACC. I used to get in Big East ACC wars all the time. Going, I'd take the Big East any day back in the day.
Oh, that was a tough conference.
Exactly. So would I. I mean, we had so many great players that come out of there, and I look back and I say, wow, I had a chance to play in that conference, the Big East Conference, and it was a tough conference. Every night you had to be up, you had to have your A game ready to play. So, I look at the ACC; they also had great players too. You got the Big Ten and all that type of stuff. But I would never. It's always the Big East for me.
Well, you played against Hall of Famers. I mean, you played at some high-level hoop.
Ewing, Chris Mullin. You played against Ewing and Mullin, right?
No, Chris Mullin left the year. I played against Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson.
Okay.
Bill Whittington. Who else was it? Willie Glass. Was that St. John's?
Wait, did you miss Ewing too? Did you miss Ewing? You were there for Ewing, right?
No, I was there for Alonzo Mourning.
Alonzo Mourning.
Wow, he's a Hall of
Alonzo
Famer.
Mourning. Also, who was it? Ralph
Dalton?
Matumbo.
Matumbo, yeah.
Matumbo. I was there for him. I was there for Sherman Douglas, Derek Coleman. I was there for those guys. Mark Bryant, who played at Seton Hall.
Of course.
So how was Cliff feeling the nights he had to face Matumbo and Mourning?
Man.
oh my gosh! We would be in the hotel room and we'd be talking about it. And every night it was no day off. There was no night off. He had to battle against some of the best, and he was our big dog, and he proved it going against Derek Coleman and Alonzo Mourning and those guys, man. Mark Bryant. I mean, every night we had to go to him, and he was our big dog, and he produced. And just again, I'm sorry that he's gone, but it's just being friends with him before we even went to the Connecticut, and then being co-captains and roommates on the road, man. I always forget him just bringing me out there to work out for 3 months with Portland, so I can get myself to go back overseas. And
awesome!
And so I owe him a lot, and rest in peace. I always say rest in peace, big dog.
A terrific NBA career too. Really underrated. 20 years or so?
Portland Trailblazers, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was almost 20 years he played. So. Exactly, and he produced. He even developed that 3-point shot. And I used to make jokes with him. I said when he got to the NBA, I just say, wow. I said, you really was looking at me when I was shooting my three. So.
And he'll forever be intertwined with the Michael Jordan shoulder shrug there during the NBA Finals, right?
Oh my God, that's legendary right there. That's legendary.
Poor Cliff.
Exactly. That's legendary. Awesome stuff.
Hey, Phil, I got one question. You and 4 guys, former UConn guys of whenever time, what would your all-time team be, you and 4 guys?
Me and 4 guys.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. Ooh, that is tough.
Look at Nick.
But I like that, though. I like that. Me and 4 guys. I will have to pick in the middle. I gotta go with Cliff in the middle for us. I gotta go with Maker, Okafor. I got to go with him. I got to go with, got to have Ray Allen. Got to have Ray in there. And then there's got to be one more. Oh, boy. That is so tough.
That's a good question, man.
How about Chris Smith. You played a year with
Smitty,
Chris
how
Smith,
about
right?
Smitty?
Oh, let's go. Oh, my God. He will kill me if you know that. Oh, my God. Smitty,
Good job,
yes, right.
Jan.
That's our point guard right there. Smitty. You got Ray Allen, you got me, you got Okafor, and you got Cliff. That's it right there. That's Smitty right there. Smitty Bob.
All right. And we'll end with that. Good job, Phil. Always a pleasure. Thanks for coming on. And I know we're kind of transitioning into baseball, but we'll get you on definitely again if when basketball comes around. Or please shoot me a text if you're in the area. And we'd love to have you and the wife stop by. We'll talk about the cake business and all that. And happy early 60th, my friend.
All right, thank y'all. I appreciate it, man. Y'all have a great show, and I appreciate y'all having me on these 2 times. And I just want to say to Connecticut fans and all, hey, I love y'all. I miss my second home, but I love y'all, and let's go Huskies next year.
Thank you, Phil. I'll send you the YouTube link as well after the show.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate y'all.
You got it. All right, there he goes. Thank you,
awesome.
Phil.
He is really terrific. But now that this time he could hear us and stuff too.
We had trouble with the phone last time.
And I don't know, go out for a couple beers with him, and I could probably talk to him all night long.
Great, fantastic.
You're not drinking now, though. No beers for you. You're
taking
losing weight.
I'm taking a little break, yeah. But the great Phil Gamble there, Husky great, who he's jumped a second time he's been with us here, and we'll get him back on when UConn Hoops comes back around, which it'll be here before you know it. So we got just a couple more minutes. 1 minute. So, any final thoughts heading into the weekend? You guys watching the Masters at all, or you guys get into that?
I get into the Sunday Masters. I'm not a golf fan, but Sunday Masters is awesome, and the Sox are sucking me back in now with a couple wins.
Yeah,
so let's start going here.
I was part of that too. I think we were all on the thread. We're like, there's a thread I have with you and Steve from Fenn, and the thread with you and Nick, and we're Sox fans. Well, except Nick's an A's fan, but yeah, it's still very early. I think this team has the capability of turning it around. They have a good lineup. They just got to start getting consistent. And tonight in St. Louis, you can hear the game starting at 7:15. Connolly early on the mound, 7:15 on WILI. Who's your quick pick again this weekend? You had
I picked against the Celtics because I think it's not going to matter. Sunday Celtics game, Orlando. I think it's going to matter a little bit for Orlando for seeding. It won't matter for the Celtics, so I picked Orlando.
And I picked 2 home runs for Wilson Contreras and the Sox going back to St. Louis this weekend and a 9-5 win tomorrow. And that'll do it. Nick, any last thoughts? You got a quick pick?
I picked the A's to beat the Mets.
All right.
All right, there you go.
That's a surprise.
I'm on board with that.
Thank you to Jan Koivisto, Nick Erlinson, intern RJ, J. Matt Rupar, and the great Phil Gamble. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching the Duncan Friday Sports Scene on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM. Homegrown is coming up.